On Monday, the cycling world exploded over tire widths. Yes, the width of a bicycle tire. This is peak first world drama. The keyboard warriors from both the narrow and wide tire camps came out swinging, and the debate, absolutely riveting. It's as if this is the cycling world's version of the Drake versus Kendrick feud. And you know what? It just might be. The audacious headline that ignited the controversy came from Josh Croxton over at Cycling News with an article titled, and I quote, 40mm road tires are faster for nearly everyone, and here's why. Now, if you're in the business of creating spicy headlines, this one's Michelin star good. And the comments across the internet did not disappoint. So let's break it down, starting with the narrow tire camp. And for reference, we'll call anything under 26mm narrow. The first argument centers around aerodynamic efficiency. Narrow tires reduce frontal area, which means less aero drag, especially at speed. Then we move to weight. Less rubber equals less weight equals less rotational mass equals faster climbing and snappier acceleration. Makes sense. I mean, it must be science, right? On paper, rolling resistance can technically be lower on the smoothest of roads at 100 to 120 psi. But who's always riding on glassy, smooth roads? I know I'm not. So maybe it's handling, maybe that's the big argument. Some riders swear that narrow tires feel more connected to the road. And if your frame was built around 23 or 25mm tires, cramming 30mm tires might wreck that snappy on-rails feel. If you have an older bike, you might be in the narrow tire camp simply by default. Older bikes simply weren't built for anything wide. A lot of classic rim brake bikes capped out at 25mm. And here's where the deep state of the bicycle industry conspiracy kicks in. Some folks in the narrow tire camp say that the bike industry is actually in cahoots with Big Tire, forcing you to buy new frames to fit wider rubber. But the wide tire camp says that that's just nonsense, that this is simply progress. And resisting it is like being a flat earther in 2025. So here's what Team Wide Tire brings to the table. The first is the ability to run lower pressures for increased comfort, especially on rough roads. Then you get more traction. I mean, more rubber equals more contact with the road, and that equals more grip. That must also be science. This means better stability and versatility across different road conditions. In terms of optimization, most modern disc frames are built with wider tires in mind. And here's the kicker. Rolling resistance is often equal or lower on wider tires in real-world conditions. It's counterintuitive, I know. So if wide tires are better, where does it end? Maybe Dylan Johnson is the wide tire prophet, leading us into the promised land of comfort and performance. Or maybe the industry has actually kind of drawn a line between 32 and 35mm. A lot of recent bikes seem to suggest that exact thought. The Canyon Air Road and SL8 top out at 32mm, the Scott Addict at 34mm, the NV Melee, 35mm. It seems like bike brands believe that going beyond that starts to compromise performance, or it just risks cannibalizing their all-road bike lineup. I'll let you fight that one out in the comments. Or maybe they just want to give us more options, which you could argue creates more confusion. Like, do you go with the NV Melee and its 35mm tire clearance, or the Fray with its 40mm tire clearance? I've said it before, I think we're living in two parallel road bike worlds. We have the fast, twitchy race bike that corners on rails and has tire clearance that maxes out between 32 and 35mm. And then we have the more relaxed and stable, but still fast, what I'd consider a modern road bike with 38 to 40mm tire clearance. Today's video sponsor is Hola Adios, the creative agency that actually gets it. Whether you need a stunning website, killer branding, or marketing that actually converts, Hola Adios makes it happen. They help businesses cut through the noise with smart, strategic, and beautifully executed creative. If you're launching, growing, or rebranding, these are the people you want in your corner. Check them out at holaadios.com and tell them I sent you for $500 off your first project. Now back to our regularly scheduled program. So where do I land? Well, I'm cautiously embracing wider tires. I started riding when 21 and 23mm tires at 120 psi were normal. Today, 30 and 32mm tires feel perfect on wheels with 22 to 25mm internal widths. I've noticed more comfort, better traction, and no loss of speed. Now for some context, I've done a 200-mile race every year for the past 7 years. The first year, I started on 25mm tires. Last year, 32 millimeter tires. That's an average of 1 extra millimeter of tire width each year. At this rate, I'll be riding fat bike tires by 2040. But seriously, while times, weather, and terrain vary, one thing stays constant. The wider my tires have gotten, the less wrecked I feel after over 9 hours straight in the saddle. And no, I haven't seen any drop in average speed or increase in power output just because my tires have gotten wider. So should everyone go ultra wide right now? Not necessarily. First, not all modern frames are optimized for big tires, even if they fit. Squeezing in a 35 millimeter tire into a frame that's optimized for 28s might technically work, but it will change the handling and feel of your bike. For the roads I ride, I don't feel like I need 40 millimeter tires all the time. I've ridden them on the Crux and fast road group rides, and they were fun. They weren't bad at all, but I prefer the snappier feel of a 30 millimeter Pirelli P0 Race TLR RS. But if I were riding a single do-it-all bike or asking my gravel rig to double as a road bike, I'd strongly consider something like the 40 millimeter Pirelli Race TLR. In fact, I've got a new build coming that has clearance for 45 millimeter tires. And you'd better believe that if I have long road rides on the calendar and I plan to use that bike, I'll be throwing those 40 millimeter road tires on there. The bottom line is this: with the right bike, there are so many benefits to riding wider tires. It's not just a marketing gimmick, but hey, to each their own. I mean, ride what you like. Whether it's a $100 Craigslist bike that's been spray painted 10 times or a $20,000 Dream Machine, I believe that you should ride whatever you want, whatever brings you the most joy in the sport. Aside from what the data might suggest, eventually you'll find what you like and you'll optimize your setup accordingly. But when it comes to wide tires, look, don't knock them until you've tried them, because you might just be surprised. And I don't think that that's something that the Narrow Camp can say about their tires in 2025. But as a consolation prize for my narrow tire friends, I've tossed a set of 25 millimeter GP5000 STR-TTs in the yard sale section of my website, outdoorbros.com. And for the wide tire crew, I'll throw a set of 40 millimeter Pirellis on there soon. I think that's a genius upgrade. Okay, can we all put the pitchforks down now and get along again? If you like this video, I've got more builds linked up above or down below, and I've got a handful of really cool projects coming up. And if you want some additional opinions on this whole debate, check out my chat on the Nero show last week. As always, thanks for watching, and until next time.